Hey everyone, welcome back to a nice, cool, wet Nova Scotia. Well, it's a real treat to wake up on a Sunday morning and after having showers all night and to not have to water anything today. It's a real treat for me. It gives me time to work on my propagation that I've got going. I have a lot of stuff propagating, and it has been the way to grow this bonsai business. It's a slow process, but it's getting better every day. So today I want to show you what I got going and hopefully give you some pointers on propagating stuff for bonsai. So let's get started. So we'll start with this tree. This is my trident maple that I started from seed. I had 5 seeds when I planted these, and they all came up, but I had an aphid problem that killed off 4 of them, and this was the only tree that survived, and I guess that makes it the strongest one. It's probably a good thing because it has been just a super strong tree, and I have gotten many cuttings off of this tree, and as you can see, it's all grown out now and ready to take more cuttings. I haven't made any money from the trident maple yet after 3 years of propagating them, but I do have some nice ones on the go, and by this time next year I'll have some for sale. So trees are all different, and this one is just a slow one, but one that I really want to propagate. So here's one of the cuttings off her that was taken in April, and by doing the tug test, I can tell that this tree is nicely rooted, this cutting, and well on its way to being a nice trident maple. So this cutting was taken in early April, so it'll probably stay in this pot for a year and then get potted up for maybe another year before it's ready to go into any kind of bonsai pot. So it's a long process. So most of my stuff that I'm propagating has been underneath this bench this year. I'm really trying to get climbing hydrangeas going, and it has turned out to be a very slow plant to root. I have one here that's definitely rooted, this one, but this cutting is probably a year old now, wintered over in the basement, and just now starting to push out some growth. So I know that they're going to be a very long process, but it's a very cool plant, and I'm definitely going to eventually have them for sale. So here's where the Chinese elms have been, and a couple of them have started pushing out a little bit of new growth on them. So I know they're alive and doing what they should be doing. It's only been about 3 weeks since these cuttings were taken, so it's still early, but I can tell that this plant really needs to be kept very humid when it's rooting and out of the sun. I've used this piece of burlap to keep the afternoon sun from coming in on them. So that's going to be another tree that I'm hoping to propagate for the market, and maybe next year I'll have some kind of Chinese elm for sale. So This one is the best cutting off of my Trident maple from seed. This one's probably about 2 years. They are great trees to use with rocks. I've got this one planted on a rock below the surface and using these rocks up above to keep it in shape, because it was wanting to really bend over. So this might be the first tree that next year I'll be able to try to sell. Making the Trident maple about a good 3-year project from a cutting. So if you're looking for something that happens fast, it's not this bonsai business, I can tell you that. But there is one tree that, well, it's not really a tree, it's a common shrub around here. And it's the one that's been putting gas in the van this summer. It's the cotoneaster. And it has been the most successful one for me because they're fast. They grow really fast. And this is one that's in training right now and is obviously in need of some pruning. So I'm going to prune this one for you, and we'll get a better look at what's going on with the wiring. So before we get to pruning that one, I want to show you this bunch of cuttings that were taken in April. So only a few months ago, and it'll show you how aggressive the cotoneaster is for rooting, making it a very fast plant to propagate, which has been a good thing since the other ones are taking so long. So here's one that's just gone to town. Very easy plant to propagate. And that's been a great thing to give me a plant that's fast, that I can make in about a year, that's good enough bonsai to sell at the market. So as you can see, it's just a much faster plant to propagate than, say, a Trident maple or some of the other breeds that I'm working with. So it's been a really good plant to bridge that gap for me, so that I have something good to sell now. So we'll do one more here. So the other good thing about it is it's just a guaranteed rooter. I mean, they just root every time. And it's one of those plants you can end up with too many of pretty fast. You'll see when I start pruning this other one. So this one was a cutting about a year ago, and it wintered over in the basement. And I put the wire on it early spring. So I want to leave this wire on well into the fall. It's becoming a really good idea to leave them wired up as long as I can to really set them into that shape. But what really helps them set is a good pruning. And this one obviously is ready for it. So first I'm gonna pick out some of the strongest shoots. This one is obviously a really strong shoot, and I'll stick a few of these for the next generation of them. I'll just strip all the lower growth off of it. There's really no reason to use rooting hormone on this plant because I suspect it has it built right into it, because it's such an easy plant to root. I don't don't waste the rooting hormone on it anymore. I just stick them and they always root. It's very easy just to strip the bottom of the branch like that and stick them in dirt. That's really all that has to happen with this breed. It is very, very aggressive growing plant, and that's one of the things that makes it really, really good for bonsai, is it develops fast. That's been a real benefit with this plant. But I mean, it still takes a good couple of years to get one that's worthy of being called a bonsai. But that's just the nature of it. That's what makes them valuable. It does take a lot of time to make one. So I'm taking most of these shoots right back to the trunk, because this plant will have no problem putting out lots of new growth. So doing this to it just really stimulates it. And I'm always wanting to try to trim up here at the base of them so that I can see the trunk on them, because I'm trying to develop the trunk on them. Like all bonsai needs a nice trunk. So I'll trim off all of the low shoots on it. And trim off all of these long shoots. Really can't hurt this plant. Just benefits from pruning. This will throw all the energy back into the trunk and help it set into the shape. So now you can really start to see the shape of it. And the used Romex is really working out for me. There's really no reason to go buy a bunch of expensive wire. Every electrician that wires a house ends up with a huge pile of scrap wire, and most of them are just right about the right length for what you need to do this. So there we go. I've got that one all trimmed and ready to grow again. So I'll show you another one. This one I pruned last week, and it was kind of in the same condition, very grown out. So that's the process on them. These will get cut back a few times like that. They'll just grow right back out again. And eventually I'll put them into a concrete pot and they'll be ready for the market. So here's the one that I'm currently trying to sell. It was one of the two that I made in a video probably about a year ago, and one of them has already been sold, and this one has just finished the bloom cycle, and as soon as they finish blooming they go right back to growing. So this one obviously needs pruning. They get really bushy really fast, and you can't really see the wire work that was done on it. So this one needs quite the haircut, and this whole piece right here needs to come off. This will open it up a lot. They do require quite a bit of pruning to keep them under control. It's just a very aggressive plant. And I'll get this one pruned up and keep trying to sell her. I have had a lot of people interested in this one. So they do become very top heavy. So all this top growth should be cut back. Really can't hurt them. It'll all grow back. It's definitely part of the process with them. And after they stop blooming is definitely the time to cut them back hard. He might need a few weeks before he goes back to the market. It's quite the haircut, but it is good for him. It seems a little drastic, but it is what they need, because this will throw all the energy back into the trunk and make it fatten more. All right, so there you go. That's what I'm up to on this cool, wet Sunday. Well, it's hard to believe, but the next episode will be number 200 on the channel. So I'll be working on that this week. So exciting to see the channel growing like it is. Many thanks to everyone for watching. And I'll see you next time on Bonsai by the Sea.